find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you are in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
Coming down to
Does
the
he
final
have
round.
it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Look at Johnson! Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the American Sim Racing League GT4 Championship live from Barber Motorsports Park for round number 13 of the championship. And the championship is coming to a close. Of course, in this championship, we've had 12 rounds before this, and all of those rounds were great races. We have two more rounds, after this one: Atlanta Motor Speedway and Road Atlanta. So those two races are the next two races, but first we have Barber Motorsports Park for you. Before this, we've had Mid-Ohio, Iowa Speedway, Long Beach, Orland Park Raceway, Homestead Miami, Rutskogen, Texas Motor Speedway, Virginia International Raceway, Tacoma Circuit, Sebring International Raceway, Silverstone, and Brands Hatch. So we'll stay in America for the last 3 races of the season. I'm looking forward to it. Let's have a look down onto the track, where Joshua Rutherford is out qualifying at the moment. 10 drivers only here today. Not as much as we usually see. Barber Motorsports Park, a very challenging circuit. Verstappen, welcome into the stream. He says mic is quiet. I hope that's fixed. Level should be the same as normally, to be honest. I haven't really touched anything. Anyhow, Joshua Rutherford is out qualifying on the track. He's now coming into the last section of corners. A really tricky section of corners. You can easily lose the car through the long right-hander there. The left-hander, don't get onto the curb, because that curb can sometimes be a bit inconsistent and throw you out. There goes Rutherford to the top. 134.002. See where he's going to end up with that time. He's going to have one more shot to improve on that. Let's go on board with Rutherford. Here he is. To the downhill chicane. This is a tricky one though. Not as much over to the left-hand side as you can be to open up that right-hander. Still a good line through the corner and improving in all sectors so far. Now once again, we are back to normal lap times. I don't know if you can still remember, but we're back when we were all the way back in the season when we were at Iowa Speedway. Lap times were about 43 seconds long or 50 seconds long. Across the line, by the way, for Joshua Rutherford. And he goes to 1:32.674, so he does improve. Let's see, however, where that's going to put him. But at Iowa Speedway, the lap times were, what, 50 seconds? So compared to that, we're back to normal lap times, 1:32 something. Keeps it going. His qualifying is finished though, but the longer you can stay out on track, the better. All track experience is welcome, of course. That's why you see some of the drivers continue. That is why. That was a little bit too far over to the left-hand side. Does indeed touch the barrier. And that's probably going to be Joshua back into the pits. Well then, we have got 4 minutes left of qualifying. Let's talk a bit about the season then. Of course, you know, Brands Hatch was won the feature race by Dave Seeds. He opened the season on a high. Silverstone Circuit was won by Brody Gunter. Dave Seeds won Sebring again. Then 2 were won by Brody Gunter. These are all feature races. Scuba Circuit and Virginia International Raceway. Then Texas Motor Speedway was won by Dave Seeds. Facundo Rago, so far, one of the 4 race winners that we've had. Rutskogen, Homestead Miami was a prey for Dave Seeds, as was Oran Park Raceway. Then we went to Long Beach, which was a prey for Brody Gunter. Then Anthony Probst won Iowa Speedway, and I lied when I said that Mid-Ohio was the 4th different winner, of course, with Brody Gunter once again taking the victory there. So Anthony Probst, 4 different winner at Iowa Speedway. And what a race that was. With the short lap times, you had traffic coming into play more than ever. And how different was that race to all the others? Now, I know one thing, and that is that so far this season, Dave Seeds and Brody Gunter have been leading the way. However, you might say that, but thinking about the fact that Facundo Rago won that race at Rutskogen by about 20 to 25 seconds, it isn't impossible to beat them. If they do find themselves in a little bit of trouble, it is possible for someone else to win them, or to win it. And especially if we look, Brody Gunter, he's here, and Dave Seeds, he's not here. Of course, only 2 McLarens in the field. That's Joshua Rutherford, or Corey Rutherford, excuse me, and Brody Gunter. Joshua Rutherford, the man in the Aston Martin. Then it's Fred Thompson, then Ken Estup and Alex Howland in P4. Rick Thompson, Brian Dees in the Porsche, together with Johnny Alford also in the Porsche. Then Corey Rutherford, I touched on it like 2 seconds ago. He is in the McLaren together with Brody Gunter. And then Nicola Battista in the 67 Aston Martin. So 2 Aston Martins, 3 BMWs, 1 Mercedes, 2 Porsches and 2 McLarens. That's how they will be lining up here. Which way, however, that's going to be a bit of a question.
Thank
Now,
you to those
Joshua
that
Rutherford
showed up
is
tonight.
for sure
We
one
have our
to look at.
second smallest field of the season, and everyone has been here before, so I'm not going to go over the rules. Let's just go up there.
Joshua Rutherford, 132.67.
Enjoy it.
Now, I don't think, to be honest, that it's going to be a massive difference. However, we're quickly going to go to a BRB screen just for 2 seconds, and then we'll be... There we go, and we're back underway. Drivers are going to grid, and let's take you through that grid of 10 drivers here this evening. Brody Gunter in P1, out of Johnny Alford in P2, Alex Howland P3, Brian Dees in P4, Ken Estes P5, Rick Thompson in P6, out of Nicola Batista in P7, Corey Rutherford P8, Joshua Rutherford P9, and Fred Thompson in P10. In the end, it was a 130.6. That was best for Brody Gunter. In qualifying, it was a 129.909, and behind that, Johnny Alford just over a tenth behind. Well, then everyone has taken to the grid. Let's wait till they get underway. Revs are rising, and there we go, it's green, green, green. Joshua Rutherford gets off to a good start, so does Brody Gunter. However, he's already up the insides of Johnny Alford, who got a great start as well. Oh, and the leader is off, Brody Gunter, into the gravel trap. There we go. It's not impossible to beat them, especially if Brody Gunter has some issues and Dave Seeds is not here. The 0-1 of Brody Gunter off the track. Turn number 2. So easily done. Up the hill. The car gets light. There we go. Leader down in the turn 1. Pole sitter off the track. Now through the downhill chicane. This is such an easy corner to lose it on. We saw that in qualifying with Joshua Rutherford. It's a Porsche 1-2 now. Porsche seemingly going well at this track. Brian Dees behind Johnny Alford. And it's Alex Howland in P3 ahead of Ken Estes in P4. Rick Thompson in P5. In the background, Nick Batista. Or Corey Rutherford, who's off as well. The McLaren seems to be a handful for Brody Gunter and Corey Rutherford. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That's going to be Corey Rutherford's out with his shots at the victory for this race. Look at the damage on that car. Yeah, that car is going to go back into pit lane, and it'll be a wonder if we see that back out again. Johnny Alford, however, at the front of the field, a 1.2 second gap. Alex Howland trying to catch him up in the lone Mercedes in this race. He's just overtaken Brian Dees. Love the livery still though from Brian Dees. It doesn't get old. Doesn't get old at all. Alex Howland, can he make it a victory for Mercedes? The only Mercedes in the field, a bit deep though into the downhill chicane. Alex Howland manages to gather it up, but needs some new underwear for sure. Because once you touch the grass there, usually it is all round you go, and there's no holding it. Also, some fun facts about this track. Around the track there are these metal structures placed that have something to do with nature, but also it's something of the racing. So at some point there is a big ant that is into the last sector where we are now, into the last couple of corners. There is a spider going into the last sector. You can see right there in the back of shot. They're all animal-based, but they all have something to do with the track and the racing. Ken Estrup is dropping down. What has happened to you, sir? He's facing backwards. That's going into turn 2. He's going to have to wait. He's going to decide to go back to pit lane. That's a bit of a question mark there for me. However, we do see that Corey Rutherford is out again. There he is. That car looking brand spanking new. And Corey Rutherford is on his way again, 2.2 behind Fred Thompson. Great to see Fred Thompson, dad of Rick Thompson. Oh, down in the turn 1. Watch it, Fred is going to do you around the outside, is Corey. Is he going to send it? Yes, he is. We know that Fred might not be the most difficult driver to overtake, but Fred is doing his best. I had a little bit of a chat to Fred earlier on last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. And Fred said that he'd been doing this actually for a little while now. So it's not like he started yesterday, but he's enjoying himself in the BMW. He likes the car, likes how easy it is to handle. And his son Rick Thompson thinks the same. He's on the verge of a podium here. 3.3 seconds back on Brian Dees, who in himself is about half a second back on Howland. This is going to be the battle to watch though, between Howland and Brian Dees. There's only 10 drivers. We're not expecting fireworks here, that's for sure, but the action will still be as great as always. Here goes Brian Dees around the outside. You're not going to carry it too wide into the chicane, are you? No, you're not. Good boy. That would have been a bad decision if he decided to go side by side through there. I've heard some contact with a wall. Luckily, it isn't the lead, the man in the lead, Johnny Alford. Johnny Alford is doing really well here to try and increase that gap. 3 seconds it is to the front of the field for Howland. The longer this takes, the more comfortable Alfred is going to get out front. That's most of the times also when the mistakes start to creep in and you start to get comfortable. Rick Thompson, who's just been overtaken by Brody Gunter, who's coming back through the field. Leaders are currently going down to the turn 5. So is Rick Thompson. Here we go down to the turn 5, brake as late as possible. That is not how you take turn 5 though. Little bit of oversteer and entry there for the BMW. And it seems like the manufacturer with the most amount of entries, the most amount of bullets in the gun, is doing the worst out of all of them. Even though Rutherford has had a bit of a crash, Gunter has been off the track. Seems to be the BMWs that are struggling, with Thompson down in P9 and Ken Estrup down in P10. And Thompson also dropping back in the field he was before. There's Brody Gunter. Oh, Sub Batista is off. I heard it down on the turn 1. There he is. Scattering across the grass. Get back onto the AstroTurf. There we go. Back onto the asphalt he goes. And now he can continue his way. The Aston Martins seem to be a handful for Joshua Rutherford and Nick Batista. But it seems to be doable so far. I'm still in the race. No retirements to speak of so far. is a leader in the race. We're on board with Johnny Alford. That Porsche engine, that straight six, sounds so incredible. There's just nothing better than it. The boxer engine, as always. It is in the Porsche DNA, that boxer engine, and it sounds incredible. Fight on track is that one between Alex Howland and Brian Dees. Johnny Alford has said, right guys, I'm going to piece out of it. 5.6 seconds is the gap, and ever increasing. Now this might not be the usual time of the week where you are expecting the ASRL street. I can tell you, from next week, we'll be back to the normal day, which is Thursday nights for European people and Wednesday evenings for you in America. Time, however, will be the same as now for people in the Central European Summertime region. It's 1:45 a.m. For people on BST, it's 0.45 BST, of course. Oh, Howland is off. Did well to keep that going. Brody Günther is catching up to the two of them as well. So this might be a 3-horse race in a second. Brody Günther looks quick though. Oh, but he's off, he's off, he's off, he's off, he's off, he's off! You could see that coming from a mile off. Brody Günther has done it again. He's got to wait till the whole field passes. Now he can go back on track. Get going again though, because Rutherford is coming in the background. He's going to go up. He's going to be up his inside. There he is. Brody Günther, all the progress that he made through the field, all comes undone. Was on a fastest lap of the race, was purple in sector 1 and green in sector 3, so was on a personal best, but was pushing it just a little bit too far coming into turn 14 onto the grass, and then there was no holding it from that point onwards. Car's tricky enough to manage on the asphalt itself, on the black stuff, let alone onto the grass. Brian Dees has closed the gap down to about 0.6 to Howland. Here's the battle for P2. Howland prone to a couple of mistakes. As long as he can just put the pressure on him. Should at some point crack. That doesn't have to be this round though. That could just be somewhere next round or somewhere in the last round, or not even at all in these last couple of races. But as long as you keep the pressure on, throughout the season, at some point the driver in front, or the driver that you are pressurizing, will crack under the pressure. Talk about cracking under pressure. Joshua Rutherford is not doing so. We're looking with Nick Batista, the white and green liveried Aston Martin. The green and black liveried Aston Martin, that is Joshua Rutherford. You might know that by now, since we were on board of him for most of qualifying. 420 Motorsports has Nick Batista chasing down Rutherford for the Work in Progress Racing team. Both in the same car. It's going to be coming down to driver ability here on who's going to be quicker and who's going to come out ahead. Good line there for Batista. Gets another 1-2 tenths on Rutherford. That's a bit deep though into the left-hander. He's going to lose some speed with that. However, he's all over the back of him now. Going into turn 14. And this is the place where if you do pressurize someone, a mistake is going to be easily made. It's such a tricky section to nail every lap. Let alone nail every lap when you're under pressure. Down the front straight, he's going to go down the inside, has a little bit of a look, and that was enough to put Rutherford off his line. However, because there's AstroTurf on the outside of turn 1, he managed to get back onto the track soon enough to set himself up for turn 2 again. Nick Batista is still behind Joshua Rutherford. That should have been Joshua Rutherford off into the barrier, or at least off the track. Was lucky that there was a little bit of a patch of AstroTurf just after the grass on the exit of turn 1. Right, he's also still over the back of Alex Howland. 5 minutes remaining here. Now, the sprint race was 20 minutes long. The feature race will be double the length of the sprint race. Feature race will be 40 minutes. We'll complete about, I would say, 28, 29 laps in that time, with lap times of 1:30. We're not quite down into the 1:29s yet. Best lap time in the race so far is from Johnny Alford, a 1:30.25. Even Brody Gunther isn't faster. He has a 1:30.61. Oh, absolutely smashes the curb. Brian Lee's giving it absolutely everything. Batista has overtaken Rutherford. Here's that battle. Now the other way around. So Rutherford behind Batista. Oh, Dees is all over Alex Howland. Coming down the front straight, down the inside he goes. And he's going to get that one. Or is Howland going to put an absolute blinder here and set it back up the inside? Is there going to be contact between the two? So far they avoid contact, but they got very close on the exit of turn 3, going into 4. However, you can see the amount of respect that these drivers race with. However, Brian Dees finally gets it done on Howland. With 2.5 minutes remaining. Finally, Brian Dees is ahead of Alex Howland. Five tenths the gap. I expected Dees to stay a little bit closer to Howland after that overtake has happened. But Dees is positively surprising me with the speed that he's got so far. And the portion just in general is surprising me with the speed that it has got. Down the inside, maybe for the Mercedes of Howland. Thinks the better of it. We'll have 2 more laps here. Two more laps, so this one and one more for Alex Howland to get back past Brian Dees. Now, where is Alex Howland going to try it? He has a bit of a lap now to try and look where he's quicker than Brian and see where he can attack him best. Down in this turn 7, 8 and 9, Alex Howland giving it absolutely everything, leaving nothing on the table. We are on board with the Mercedes. Mercedes engine back the run that it has. You have to love it. Into the last section, turn 15 now. Keeps it a bit tighter than Brian Dees does. But he's going to get on the exit again, down on the turn 16. Which makes it that Howland has a better exit out of the last corner. He can't use it since he's half a second back. The last lap has commenced. Johnny Alfred still leading the way as he's done for almost the whole race. Brody Gunther 11.1 back on Howland, so he's not going to get close. Well, for the reverse grid race, you have to say Brody Gunther is once again driver that you'll be looking forward to, or that you'll be looking at during that race. The second is the gap now to Brian Dees. I think Alex Howland has thrown in the towel. Yeah, he has. Some mistakes there going down this turn 8 and 9. Easily done though, especially at that complex quarters. However, something that was not easy for Johnny Alfred was to stay concentrated out at front of the field. But he managed to do so, and Johnny Alfred is going to become the 5th different race winner. Across the line, Johnny Alfred wins race number 1 at Barber Motorsports Park, ahead of Brian Dees in P2, who comes through 1.3 ahead of the Mercedes of Alex Howland. Brody Gunther gained about another second on that last lap. Right over the back of the 66 of Ken Eston. Here's Rick Thompson across the line in 5th. And just for Rutherford in 6th. 7th is Batista. No one in a real fight anymore. Across the line for Nick Batista. It's only Rutherford that we're waiting for, together with Fred Thompson. There goes Fred Thompson across the line. And you can hear Brody Gunther coming in the background. There he goes across the line for Joshua Rutherford, or Corey Rutherford, excuse me. Easy to mix the two up. And let's take a look at the results for that race then. Well, then we know one thing. It was a dominant display in race number 1. Here we go. There we got the result. Johnny Alfred wins out of Brian Dees and becomes the 5th different race winner. Alex Howland in P3 out of Brody Gunter P4. Rick Thompson in P5. Josh Rutherford P6. Nick Batista in P7. Corey Rutherford P8. Ken Esther P9 and Fred Thompson in P10. That's the result for race number 1. Drivers now have gone into a little bit of a warm-up, 5 minutes to just let their brains rest, give them a chance for a bathroom break or anything else that they need, and then we'll go into the 40-minute feature race. Let us know, where are you watching this from, and where are you watching it on a TV, on your laptop, your desktop, on your phone, on your tablet? Let us know. Interested to see where you all are watching it from and watching it on. Am I watching it from the toilet? We're waiting for the 5 minutes to pass. Fred Thompson is out. Find him. There he is. From the Speed Mafia. From the Kill Devil delivery, it is Fred Thompson. Well then, are we going to see Fred Thompson top the charts in the warm-up session? Normally in a little bit of a longer warm-up session, you can kind of, figure out, especially in the sim, who to root for on race day. Usually you do that for longer endurance races, so the morning of the race you have a little bit of a warm-up. But there we go, 5 minutes are over and we're going to go into race number 2. And let's go and look at the grids for this race then. Brody Gunter will start in pole position out of Johnny Alfred in P2. Alex Howland in P3, and Brian Dees in P4, Ken Esther P5, Rick Thompson P6, Nick Batista 7, Corey Rutherford P8, Joshua Rutherford P9, and Fred Thompson starts all the way back in P10. That was it already. A small grid. Waiting for everyone to get onto the grid. Brody going to the last driver to get on. Fred Thompson has gone back to pit lane. So that's not going to help his cause. Brody Gunter is out. So we're going to wait for the revs to rise. And then we'll be underway with race 2. 40 minutes long. 40 minutes at Barber Motorsport Park. Here we come. It is green, green, green. Not the best start though for Fred Thompson at the front of the field. He immediately gets passed and swarmed by everyone. Brian Dees in contact with, for sure, Brody Gunter. Brody Gunter facing backwards. Brian Dees left nowhere to go. And both the drivers that I had down as the two drivers who could win this race are facing backwards and have nowhere to go down the turn 1. Brody Gunter once again, not the best start for him. A good start though for Corey Rutherford, who was backwards there. Ken Estep and Joshua Rutherford are onto the grass. That is into turn 5. Next target on his list is Fred Thompson. There's Fred Thompson. He goes to the right hand side, lets Brian Dees through. This is a count for Ken Estep. Not quite. Everyone now already almost outside of a second of each other. Alfred is going to try and make his way forwards. Rutherford, however, is doing a tremendous job at the front of the field. There we go, 135.691. That's how he opens the race for the work in progress racing team. On the back of that car. Oh, it's a bit deep there from Corey. It's going to lose him some valuable time, some time that he's going to need. That allows Rick Thompson to come back up the back of him. Alfred is all over Rick Thompson, BMW. And Pentoil livery Porsche might well come through. Remember, Johnny Alfred won the last race. Howland finished ahead of Dees, but Dees nowhere to be seen now close to Howland. Of course, he had that contact going into turn 1 with Brody Gunter. Brody Gunter, here he is in the back of Batista. Can he climb his way back to the front of the field? There's also a battle for the lead. Rick Thompson on the inside of Corey Rutherford. Is he going to make the move stick? He is not. And instead, he's going to be under attack now from Johnny Alfred behind him. That's the risk you take. And the risk did not pay off this time round. That's run back down in the P3. Johnny Alfred maybe going for P1 as well. Rutherford is off the track. Rutherford is all over the place. Gets re-overtaken by Thompson as well. So Thompson has his P2 back. Alex Howland now on the outside of Corey Rutherford. He doesn't manage to make that stick either. I don't think he even expected to be on the outside of the previous race leader. Howland is trying to pressurize Rutherford. Behind that is Brian Dees trying to overtake Joshua Rutherford. So both Rutherfords in an interesting battle here. Batista seems to have gone off the track. There is Batista. Seems to be a short off track moment. Nothing too big. It's about to be 130.840 for Johnny Alford. Let's go on board with Rick Thompson and listen to that glorious BMW engine. Lovely sound. Howland and Günther are also fighting. Günther is on the inside for the next corner, and he's going to get that one. You can go through there side by side, but you need loads and loads of respect from both drivers. I don't think Brody Günther was up to giving Howland any respect. He wants to get to the field. He wants to get through the field as quick as possible. Doing that by making decisive moves. Now is fellow McLaren up ahead of Corey Rutherford. A little bit over 6 minutes down now on this race. Already found himself on the back of Rutherford. You must think though what it could have been if he would have had a clean start. Brian Dees is still struggling down on P7. Maybe that car has some damage that is affecting the performance of the car. Like the damage on the left hand side of the 0-1 McLaren is affecting him by any means. Here we go, where's Woodigan trying to make this pass? He's been decisive with Alex Howland. He's going to take a little bit more careful with his fellow McLaren driver, Corey Rutherford. Corey's not going to let him past. Batista's off the track again. What have you done, sir? Doesn't seem to be dropping back any positions. Here we go then. Günther on the outside for turn 5 is not going to get it. He's losing time here. Gap to Thompson is about 5.1. Gap from Thompson to Alford is about 1.1 already. So he's about 6.2 behind already on the leader. The longer he's going to have to stay behind Corey Rutherford here, the more difficult it's going to get for Günther to catch back up. Oh, contact between the two. Günther, Howland and Rutherford are off. And Brody Günther, what a torrid time he's had in race 1 and race 2. Brian Dees now has gotten past Gunter again. Is Johnny Alford going to take his second victory already? I'm questioning myself now. Because Brody Gunter seemingly out of the running now for the victory at least. Here, if everything goes to plan. Oh, a good run there for Dees. Oh, Batista, he's going to get him. He's going to get him before they get to the braking zone of turn 1. Nice move by the Porsche. Next target up ahead is the Mercedes of Howland now for Brian Dees. Those two, of course, have been fighting ever since last race. Howland is now the back of Corey Rutherford. He's finding out the same that Brody Gunter is finding out. Rutherford is a very difficult driver to pass, it seems like right now. He's putting his car in the right position all the time. So all props to Corey Rutherford right now. 1/4 into this race. And he's still on podium course. Now I can imagine that Howland has magically gone against some incredible pace. You can see through the last complex of corners the different lines. That allows Howland to come a little bit closer. Out of 15. Actually, I thought he was going to lose half of that time at least through turn 60, but he's not. He actually stays within 4/10. Best shot he's had so far. On board with Howland, the inside is left open by Rutherford, and he gets through. The first possible opportunity for Howland, and he takes it. Corey Rutherford off the podium. Maybe also realizing that Howland might be just a little bit too quick for him. Now I never like, especially in the sprint races, see drivers pull over to the right or left hand side of the track and let someone by. But it is the smartest thing to do here for Rutherford, so I do understand it. You always, as a commentator and as a spectator at home, as a viewer at home, you want to see a fight. You're invested in the fact that he's closing the gap, and if you can see that the guy in front is just going to let him pass, you know, it's not really going to be a fight. It's kind of anticlimactic. However, into the pits comes Rutherford. No, he doesn't. Bails out of that one, and I was actually just wide. I allowed Brian Dees to come back through as well. Brian Dees is up to P4 here. Now Batista's in the back of Corey Rutherford. Those McLarens are a handful to handle, it seems like. Gunter down in P8. Rutherford in P5. I know those positions are not because of someone pitting and someone else not pitting. Some positions on merit. There he is, Rick Thompson. Can he get his podium then? It's such a difficult complex of corners. Alfred, however, is good for this victory, I would say. 14 seconds ahead of Howland in P3. Within 14 minutes, so he's getting a second every minute. That's a 10th. Almost every 6 seconds. Rick Thompson a bit deep down at the turn 5. Something we have seen from other drivers as well. It's not something new from Rick Thompson. Easily done, however, loses some valuable time to Alfred. Time that he really needs. Into the grass though. Keep it on track, keep it going, and he does. Well done, Rick Thompson. Has lost some time with that, but crucially, is still in the race. And is still on podium course. At some point, Howland is going to catch up though, with the pace that these two are running. Look at that, 11 seconds back from Alfred to Thompson. If Alfred manages to throw this away now, then I think I've witnessed the biggest bottle in racing history. Now don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It's not easy what they're doing, not at all. And I'm not saying that. It's the fact that they do it lap after lap after lap after lap after lap, which makes it so impressive. If you look at drivers, especially in Formula 1, like Max Verstappen, who can just push out these consistent lap times, time after time after time after time. It is so impressive to look at because they hit the same markers every time and time again, at the same point on the track, and then you're like, okay. You get an understanding of how much precision and how much talent it takes for you to, you know, be able to be that precise every lap around. These two are back at it though, from race 1 to race 2. Rutherford and Batista were very closely matched, the two of them. Whoa, someone was into the wall there. Was that Corey Rutherford? Yes, it was Corey Rutherford. You could just about hear that in the distance. You could hear someone clatter the wall, and that is Corey Rutherford out with a shot at this victory. It was P5 at the moment that it happened. That has promoted Nick Batista up into P5. Rutherford is the first one to make the pit stop. So he's now going to go into pit lane. Take on some fuel, maybe some tyres. Go back out and give it his absolute everything. We're approaching the halfway point in this race, 20 minutes to go then. That front end of that Mercedes looks a bit dented, I have to say. Looks a bit bent inwards. Rutherford is on pit exit, but has been overtaken by Thompson. He overtakes it before Thompson can actually answer to it. Oh, he's off the track again. Rutherford, stay on the track. Batista seems to be off the track as well. He's gone back into pit lane as well. Unbelievable. Just before the pit stop window, people are... The car seems to be very tricky to drive now on lower fuel. On this track, it's up and down, a lot of elevation. That doesn't help either. The car gets very light at some parts of the track. And very front heavy at some other parts. Especially down the hill at turns 7 and 9. That's why you have to watch out. So the exit of turn 8 into turn 9, you're going to get a lot of push, a lot of understeer. That's normal with the way that corner works. You just have to account for it before you go into the corner. A big puff of smoke. What's happened here then? Who's gone off? Seems to be a Howland. Who's had a little bit of an off moment. 3 seconds is the gap now to Thompson. Should be able to close that over the next 20 minutes, but there's also a pit stop involved in that. Jordi Alfred though, what a race he's having at the moment. 16.4 out ahead of Thompson in P2. This is an absolutely dominant display. This is almost the Brody Gunter and Dave Seeds display here. It's those two drivers fighting it out. Now it's no one at the moment fighting out at the front, because Alfred is 17.1 seconds ahead of Thompson. What more do you really need? The gap is there. He doesn't need to push with 17.2 seconds. You can relax. You can hang back a bit. Make sure that you don't do anything stupid, because the worst would be for him now to make a mistake somewhere and lose all of that time, all of the valuable time that he's fought so hard for. Gaps in the field have opened up now. There's battle on track is Howland is trying to catch up to Thompson. 3 seconds is the gap. Now for Alex Howland here specifically, you wouldn't say that it would be too big of an issue, but the problem is keeping your concentration up for so long all the time and time again, is very difficult to do. Here we go then. Brian Dees is also catching up. 4.6 is the gap from him to Howland. He's been catching up to Howland. Howland has been catching up to Thompson. I think that from P2 to P4, things could still shuffle around here. Also, you have to forget, some people have made their pit stop, some people haven't. Ken Estep is the first driver who's done so. He's made his pit stop. So he's now going to wait and see where he's going to get out. 26 seconds is the gap to Gunter. He's even going to get out in front of Dees. Dees is going to be out in front of Estep here. 33-second gap. It's going to be close though between the two. Brian Dees on the back of Rutherford now. Corey Rutherford. See if he can make that pass as soon as possible. Corey, of course, will now be getting the blue flags, telling him that a faster car is coming through, a car that is putting him on a lap. Which doesn't mean he has to get out of the way. Oh, he's off again. Rutherford is off again. Lucky not to collect Brian Dees there on the way as well. Well, we're over halfway into this race. Almost 2/3 of the way done. And we'll have a look at our leader at the minute, Johnny Alfred. Here he is. He's just on the exit of 9 now. He's driven like a champion, to be honest. For that, we're going to take a lap on board with Johnny Alfred, where I'm not going to talk, where I'm going to shut up, and you can enjoy the pure engine sound from the Porsche. 14.5 minutes on the clock. He's not going to go into pit lane. Here we go. Enjoy a lap around the Barber Motorsports circuit. That was a lap around the Barber Motorsports circuit. Remember though that the gap is 24 seconds, but he still has to make a pit stop. 3 drivers still have to make a pit stop: Brian Dees, Rick Thompson and Johnny Alfred. Funny enough, that is also the top 3 in this race. All 3 of them still have to make that pit stop, so watch for that as well. That pit stop is going to be crucial. How are you going to go about that? Pit stop time for most drivers in between the 5-second mark, which is quite a big range though, in between the 5 and the 15-second mark. Pit lane time in between the 53 and the 40 mark. He wants to pit as late as possible. He doesn't want to put himself back in traffic. Thompson is pitted as well, so it's only Brian Dees who he now has to wait for. It's a Porsche 1-2 momentarily. And I don't think it's going to hold. One thing we know, Alfred is going to hold at the front for sure. And he's got to come into pit lane right now. Into pit lane. Watch out. Don't go full throttle to this left-hander, because you will just run into the barrier. Well then, let's stay with our leader in this race. Is Brian Dees probably going to come to pit lane? We'll see that shortly. Here he is. 5 seconds done now. 6. Keeps counting, keeps counting. There we go, 11 seconds, so he's right in between it. Brian Dees is also coming to pit lane. See if Brian Dees does. Can he keep it a Porsche 1-2? For that, he would need to be ahead of Rick Thompson. Just pit book, stops. Starts the engine again. And oh, that's a long one. 12.9 for Brian Dees. A little bit more on Johnny Alford, but Johnny Alford indeed has kept the lead. One-fourth to go in this race. On the inside it is Fred Thompson. A little bit of a scary moment there for Johnny, but he manages. The gap is still 31 seconds, so he doesn't need to take any risks at all. Brian Dees is on the back of Rick Thompson though. Is he going to make it a double Porsche 1-2 and assert some Porsche dominance here at the Barber Motorsports circuit? Oh, take the corner well then, Brian Dees. That's good. Good recovery. Quick thinking from Brian Dees. Just sent it straight on instead of trying to turn. If he would have turned there, he would have 100% been off. Is Brian Dees fuel saving? Sounds like it with the fact that he's in a higher gear. He's losing massively. Has he underfueled? Has Brian Dees underfueled? Now you wouldn't think of that mistake being made, but it is a very big possibility. Well then, into the last 10 minutes, into the last 8 minutes of this race. With Alfred still leading the way for Porsche, Ben Thompson in the BMW, Rick Thompson still on podium course. He's going to overtake his dad, Fred Thompson, right there. He's on the right hand side, Fred Thompson. Staying out of the way of everyone. Knows that Fred himself knows that he's not the quickest, and he told me that too when I was talking to him. What he just wants is he wants to try and improve step by step, just get better with every lap that he does. So far this season, if that is his goal, then he's surely been achieving that. At the beginning, of course, when I met Fred, when I first saw him in the ASRL season, I knew it was going to be a good one. Because those father-son relationships are always one to look after. And if you can race together, that's a very good way of bonding. So he loves it. To go. Clock is ticking down. Clock is ticking down rapidly. I want to thank you guys already very much for watching. Of course, it's appreciated, every one of you. As Brody Gunter's out of the race. Driving anymore. He is retired. We have our first retirement, and it is Brody Gunter, so we're going to for sure have a different winner again. Alfred, however, won the sprint race, so he has won a race already, but can he make it double? And perform a dominant display here at Barber Motorsport Park, old Barber Motorsports Park. Brian Dees in the Porsche, trying to make it a Porsche 1-2 onto the back of Thompson. There's BMW. 5 minutes left to do so. He's right there now, 8 tenths. 7, 8 tenths, that's where you want to be. Not too close, but also not too far away. Who is Thompson being held up by? It seems to be the Aston Martin of Joshua Rutherford, who in third is trying to catch up to Corey Rutherford ahead of him. Going to be the battle for these closing stages of this race. It's going to be between Brian Dees and Thompson. And it's not only Johnny Alford who has been performing dominantly, it's also that car, it's the Porsche that seems to be going so well at this circuit. Brian Dees with that lovely Dees nut delivery is going to try and make it a Porsche 1-2 for race 1 and for race 2. Race 1 they already succeeded at it. For race 2 it's going to be a bit more of a challenge for Brian Dees with 3.5 minutes left and a kind of 7.5 tenths to close down. But Thompson being held up by Joshua Rutherford ahead of him. He'll be flashing his lights, he'll be shouting in the car, get out of the way, but you know, you have to make that pass safely. They don't have to get out of the way. The gap has come all the way down to below half a second. Is Brian Dees going to steal that second position away from Rick Thompson? We've got 2 more laps to go for the leader after this one. 3 more laps for these drivers now. Thompson will be counting down the laps. For Brian Dees, the race can't be long enough. He wants to end as soon as he's in P2. But not before. Porsche wants it as well. Porsche wants that 1-2. Oh, Estep is off. BMW of Ken Estep was off again. He's had multiple offs this race, but somehow is still managing to finish in the top 5. There we go, across the line. Yeah, just about another 2 laps. I wasn't neat right with those 2 laps. Brian Dees has fallen off a bit. The better exit though out of the last corner for Brian Dees. There's so many different lines possible through that last section of corners. Turn 14, 15 and 16. Especially that 15 and 16 complex. Go very wide on 15, cut back into 16. Keep it tight to 15 and we will cut back in 16. There's so many different possibilities there. So it's a good overtaking spot, even on the last lap. Going to send one up the inside of turn 15. But we do remember that if the driver does the up and under, there's no chance for you to get anything back. Rutherford is still in the way of Thompson. If Thompson loses this one, he's going to be fuming. He probably already is in that car. He's probably already driving frustrated because of the fact that he can't get past Rutherford. But he needs to go for the overtake. Rutherford is off. Corey, Rutherford is off. So is Thompson. And there we go. There's these around the outside. And it'll become the inside for the second part of the corner. He doesn't want to risk it. Not this early. Last lap is ongoing for Johnny Alford to make it a double. Brian Dees had a bit of a look, but couldn't make one stick. Last lap, the white flag is out. Battle still commences. A bit of an off-track moment for Rick Thompson, which allowed Brian Dees to have one opportunity, but he defended that tactfully. Half a second is the gap. It's going to be decided on track. However, one thing that's not going to be decided on track anymore is if Johnny Alford is going to win his second race of the evening, and he for sure is. Out of the last corner, Johnny Alford wins once again, picks up his second victory at Barber Motorsports Park. A dominant display from Johnny Alford. Ryan Dees on the back of Thompson. Can he make it a Porsche 1-2? Going for the exit speed. No, he's not going to get it. Gap is growing. Thompson is going to get P2 here. Thompson is going to get P2 as long as he's not going to be held up. It's going to be a drag race down to the line. A better exit for Brian Dees. Where is he going to put his car? Look at all this traffic in the way. A drag race between the two, and it is going to be Thompson who's going to get it. Brian Dees finishes in P3. Nonetheless, though, an incredible result for Brian Dees. Waiting for Ken Estep now to cross the line. Ken Estep is going to cross the finish line as well. And that is it then for round 13. Let's take a look at the results of that race. Here we can see Johnny Alford once again at the top of the timing sheets. What a drive from Johnny. A dominant display, and you couldn't have really asked for more. The only thing that you can say, that you can argue, is that maybe his pit entry wasn't quite optimal, but that is all. For the rest, Johnny Alford has driven an optimal race here, and I think if you're that far ahead, you're not going to risk it in the pit lane. So, and rightly so, why would you? Rick Thompson in P2 ahead of Brian Dees in P3, not making it a Porsche 1-2 in the second race as well, but a 1-2 and a 1-3 for Porsche. They'll be very happy with that. Alex Howland in P4 ahead of Ken Estep in P5, Corey Rutherford in P6, Joshua Rutherford in P7, Nick Batista in P8, and P9 for Fred Thompson. Brody Gunter in P10, and that rounds off our 10-strong grid. Well then, that's it for round 13. 2 more to go in the championship. until next week, though, where we will be back at normal time. So Thursday night for people in the UK and the Central European summertime zone, and Wednesday evening for the people in America. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you there. Bye bye.